Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the Fantasy Dads. You're here on another beautiful Thursday night. Myself, Seamus the Moose Anderson, here with my good buddy Dan Perkins. Dan, how you doing tonight, bud?
Doing all right. We're here, and week 7 got some football a little bit, not as much as we normally like to talk about for the week perspective, but got a game today and ready to get into some stuff.
Yeah, we do. It's not gonna be a pretty game. Definitely not gonna be a pretty game. We got one quarterback that's out in Baker Mayfield. Bridgewater's hurt. We got a bunch of people out. It's gonna be a long day. But again, it's football, so we don't give a shit. We're gonna watch it regardless. I don't care who's playing. We're always gonna watch it. If you're here on the stream, thank you very much for joining in. We are live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. And of course, tonight is our Thursday night pregame. We're going to talk a little bit about the injuries at first. And then we're going to run into normally me and Perks do a rest of season talk, but I think we both kind of agreed, Perks. It's a little bit more important that we focus on the here and now for this particular week, just because of how many teams we have out. We have 6 teams that are out right now on a bye week. They're all very important teams. I'm talking. There's going to be a lot of QB streams this week. There's a lot of wide receiver and running back streams. It's just everywhere. So let's get into the injuries a little bit, buddy. Do you have a list with you?
Yeah, so let's just start with tonight's game. We know Jerry Jeudy's still sidelined. He won't be making an appearance. Broncos got a lot of guys missing on defense, including Bradley Chubb. On the Browns side, Baker's obviously sidelined, so Case Keenum gets to start today. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt is sidelined as well. Kareem Hunt is on the injured reserve, and Nick Chubb is just sidelined for at least this week. Might miss next week too, but that will come out more as he gets an additional 10 days of rest. Landry, I think he's going to be good to go.
Yeah.
So just interesting to see what he does. I wouldn't necessarily plug and play him, but he'll be out there and he siphons targets. If we look in the league perspective, Gronk, he was sidelined today, so his ribs are still hurting. Doesn't look like he'll be ready. Damien Williams, he had the spot start for people a couple weeks ago. Then he landed on the COVID list. He still remains sidelined. He's unvaccinated. So they're saying the earliest he could even be cleared is Saturday.
Woof.
So you might get another start out of Khalil Herbert. And I mean, he showed up. Well, I mean, he definitely held his own like out there. So it wouldn't be the worst option if you got him. Allen Robinson, he returned to practice today, missed yesterday due to an ankle. So it could be a get right game. He needs it. But
Yeah.
you might need to start him too. So I mean, of all weeks, like you at least want him to. He has a good matchup, so yeah, he should be out there. Ty returned last week, hurt his quad, still sidelined today. So I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to go against the 49ers Sunday night. And scrolling down a little bit here, Jimmy G is on track to play this week, because Trey Lance is still yet to practice. Trey Lance is going with a knee injury, and Jimmy G with his calf, he is on track to play. So that'd be a good sight for 49ers fans. For fantasy fans, keep him on the bench. We got some streamers and stuff to tell you about later, or people we'd rather go with. Derrick Henry, he got a day off. It's not known why. Quite frankly, I'm not too worried about him.
Nope.
He's got what?
It's probably because his back hurts from leading his team the entire season.
He has more yards after contact than the next leading rusher.
Yeah, that's insane.
An absurd amount, like insane. AJ Brown didn't practice today. Julio Jones did return to practice today. So Julio with the hamstring got in a limited session. AJ Brown, he's just feeling a little ill, sickness. He didn't practice. Terry McLaurin limited in today's practice with a hamstring injury. Bridgewater, I didn't mention him earlier. He will be good to go today, but He's got a foot injury hampering him, so may not see a little Drew Lock if he gets re-aggravated. Latavius Murray, he didn't practice again today. He has an ankle injury. So that would be interesting with the platoon of ghost of running backs pass that the Ravens got. You got
Jesus.
I mean, yeah. Tyreek Hill, he missed Thursday's practice. So he's got a quad injury he's dealing with. I don't think it's that much of a concern. He missed last week, same thing, and was just fine. Hawkinson came back this week, or came back today for practice. He had a knee injury. Just got a couple more key players. Antonio Gibson's back at practice today. He had a shin injury, so he'll be good to go. Saquon, he was absent for practice. I plan to be without him this week. And same team, Kenny G, absent for practice. Antonio Brown, ankle injury. He doesn't practice. Goddard could be really important, especially with the Zach Ertz trade. He did get activated from the reserve COVID list, so he should be good to go this week.
Okay.
Pretty much all I got in terms of I will be remiss if I didn't mention that Quentin Nelson, he's designated to return, so he has a window which he could come within. Not saying he'll be ready to go this Sunday, but that's going to be a boost for Carson Wentz, Taylor when he does get back.
Okay.
And that's all I got for the injuries.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah, lots of injuries, lots of buys. Obviously we mentioned that there were 17 or 6 teams rather that are on buys this week. I know me and Kev had spoken a little bit about it prior to tonight on our Tuesday night show, but we got the Bills, Cowboys, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings, and Steelers. So a lot of big names, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, really anybody you can think of that is probably important to your team or at least somebody you know's team. What's up, everybody? Chat. We got Tommy Boy, my dad. He said, "Let's go." That's right, baby. Another Thursday night. We love it. Derek said, "Tough bye week." Yeah, I mean it's the bye-pocalypse, literally. And then Alex Sternup said, "What's up, boys?" He also said, "You're very quiet. Might have to try to take your mic out and then back in again. That could certainly be it." Oh, say something. Go ahead.
All right, thumbs up in the chat if you got me.
He'll be back. He'll be back. I'm sure.
Yeah, could you hear me, Moose?
There you go. Now you are. Yes, I thought it was my computer for sure. I turned it up to 100, and I was like, dude, I can barely hear this dude. So no, you good. You good. All right. Alex said that's much better. Thanks for the heads up, Alex. And Derek, appreciate it. That's Dan. Yeah, we always count on you guys. So let us know if you can never hear us or if something's up. We can only change so much on our side, but Rhino's usually the one producing. Anyhow, if you're with us, make sure you hit the like button. Please share the page. It always helps us out. Don't be embarrassed by us. We're going to help you guys out. We want to help everyone out. We love doing this shit, and we do it for free. We do it for the love of the game. It's like college football. It's like we're like D2 college football. You know what I'm saying? We're like a Kyle Duggar, So, if you like him and you like low-level football, then you should be sharing our shit.
Say D1 AA. I'm Victor Cruz tearing it up at UMass. So I'm going more.
Oh no. My God.
Well, when I was at URI, I saw him shred Keeney Field down, and
did you?
Like, oh yeah. He was there around it was 2011. So it was my junior year, and yeah, he opened a good one on us, and I was just like, oh, this guy's just different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was
just amongst that category of athlete.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So first and foremost, Dan, I think the crowd been here for longer than a season. I kind of wanted to get everybody to get to know you a little bit. So I'm going to ask you, and really just your style with fantasy football, maybe commissioner style, something like that, right? So I want to ask you a simple question. I heard it was being talked about today. And because this is a apocalypse, I think it's important that I bring this up. I think it's important that we speak about it before we get into the normal things that we get into. And my question basically is, are you okay with people leaving empty roster spots for a week like this because they don't want to have to drop a Devin Singletary, they don't want to have to drop a Darnell Mooney or a Michael Pittman Jr., deep leagues where you have a good amount of talent on the board, even like Trey Sermons, like I think he's droppable too, but are you I mean, in 10-team leagues, specifically two this week, which I think a lot of people we talk to play in, they have to drop real talent this week. Like talent that if you drop somebody, you may not get that player back. And it's not going to be good. Like I might have to drop Jared Cook this week. I don't want to. I can drop another player instead. But basically what I'm asking you is, are you okay with empty roster spots during a week? Or do you think you should have to put out a full roster in order to continue with a league, like legally? Like, do you think commissioners should be like, you have to play a full roster? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So I'm not a commissioner in any fantasy football league.
Sure.
I will voice my opinion when things like this come up to a vote, but I will say that I think it's up to the owner if they want to take a zero. But in the way you're phrasing the question, I don't think they have to necessarily drop someone to start someone that's going to actively play that week. You know what I'm saying? So like if the worst let's say it is a Singletary, and me, I'd be fine kind of dropping them depending on league size, and if I get them back, great. Oh well. But if I'm willing to take a zero and I put them in my lineup, and I'm kind of attesting that, hey, this is my fault. I'm sorry, like I just don't want to hurt my team moving forward. Then that's my decision to make as an owner.
Okay.
I mean, for the integrity of the game, like if you can have some flexibility, maybe someone gets ruled out late and you can put them on the IR spot or something. Definitely take advantage of all those avenues. But I don't think damaging your team long term is worth the just kind of the gentleman's agreement to play everyone that's going to be active.
Okay. All right. I don't hate that assessment because you're speaking mostly from the team owner's perspective, which I'm in that same boat, right? So I don't run any leagues either. But I think for me, it's like half and half. Like half of me is like, dude, like, no, I shouldn't have to drop a really solid player in order to maybe win a week. And it's not a deciding week either. It's only week 7, right? If this were week 14 or something, I think it would be a little bit different. But say you're in first place and the guy behind you is playing a team that is missing 3 guys, like and gets an easy win. Like in that case, I think I'd have a little more of an issue with it. Now, I don't have that problem at the moment, but I think my point is just like it depends on the situation, but it really is just up to commissioners, I think. I think this has to be like a league wide oh my god. Oh, sorry. Breaking news. Jerry Jeudy got a solid workout pregame today. The team expects him to play in week 8 against Washington. Sorry, I saw that come across my screen, and I was like, "Oh my god, is he playing tonight?" He is not. But I got super duper nervous real quick. I was like, "Oh my god, I got to take him off IR. I got to put him in there." All right, back to the conversation. Agree with that. I don't necessarily disagree with it either, because if you're in first and the team behind you takes an easy win, then it's probably pretty maddening. But at the same time, I don't think I'd blame somebody for not dropping, particular people. So I guess I'm kind of just like half and half on it. But I just wanted to get your perspective. I thought it was something important that we talk about because I know for a fact, like, I haven't picked up a defense in one league yet because I'm not dropping Buffalo's defense. Like, it's just not going to happen. I'm not streaming a defense from here on out. And I don't really have anybody I can drop So I'm waiting for Kadarius Toney to be labeled out, which he hasn't been yet, which he should be. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, so I should be able to put him on the IR soon, but not quite yet. And let us know, you guys, what your thoughts are too. I'd love to hear a little bit about what you guys think. Give us a yes or no. Should you be able to have nobody, missing roster spots? What are your thoughts? Let us know. All right.
Well, one question before we move on to it.
Sure.
Just as like a strategy thing, let's say you're going into Monday night, because I know that the average consumer goes through this as well. Like, let's say you're leading Monday night and you just have like your defense to go and you're up and they're done. Will you pull that defense out of the lineup, or will you commit to playing them? And if they get negative points and you lose, you kind of fall on your sword.
Wow, that's a good question. Shit, I'd probably take him out at that point. No, yeah, I think that's different. Yeah. See, no, that's a good point. I think that's different. But also, I don't think I've ever come into that situation before, to be honest with you. I've never once thought of that. Like, people don't think about taking the Thursday games out of their flex. Make sure you guys do that. Have them in their positional spots. I've absolutely never thought of that. What a wild concept, because I'd probably take them out.
This is what happened to me. That's why I'm saying, like, literally to keep me out of the playoffs one year, like, they subbed out their guy. Or I think it was like, I actually think it was a receiver, and they was hoping, oh well, what if he just like gets an end around and then fumbles and then he gets hurt type of thing, and literally took him out. Didn't want to get the point differential, and that was it. So I mean, I'm talking
now. Were you? Yeah, I. That's wild. Yeah. Alex said he sees it from both sides on the previous concept. Well, I mean, kind of. I guess it's both. And then Derek said, never thought about that. Yeah, me either, Derek. I've been doing fantasy for a while, but I have not ever once thought of that. So, wow, what an interesting. I don't know. I'm not a commissioner, so I don't have to worry about the shit like you. But I'd probably say I don't care. You win how you win. A win is a win. They don't ask how, they ask how many. All right. Well,
That's
any
fair.
other questions that you want to fry my brain with?
No,
anything else you'd like to destroy me with tonight?
Well, pondering life's questions in this degenerate game that we
honestly.
play. No,
it's degenerative.
It's just, you either gotta commit to the rule or you don't. So like, that's why I see it on the side of the owner, where it's like, hey, if you decide to take a 0, take the 0. If you decide you want to pull a defense so they don't get boat raced on Monday night, then do it.
All right. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I guess it would have to just be one or the other for the whole season. All right. Well, we still have a whole entire show to go after my brain's been glued to the back of my skull. All right. We're going to play a new little game, a new little segment we're going to call Who Would Ya? I really wish we had like a Biggie Smalls version of Who Shot Ya just play for this segment. Maybe we'll get those music rights someday, but who would you? All right. So this is Who Would You Play this week. So as I explained a little bit before, we usually do a rest of season bit, and I think that's important to do as well. But it's kind of more of a pre-waiver show item than Who Would You Play this weekend, because we know people have all sorts of questions this week. I have a question in here that I need answered. If you guys don't know, we try to. The advice we give you, we need the advice ourselves. Like, we are going through the same things that you guys are going through week in and week out. We're having the same questions. We're having the same debates with ourselves on who we play and who we sit. So we're going to dive right into it. And I think quarterbacks are going to be a huge thing for streams this week. I mean, you got Dak out, you got Justin Herbert out. Shit. You even got freaking Kirk Cousins out. Um, and I know some people that have been or that have had to play, Trevor Lawrence. It's just the kind of thing that happens on a week like this one. And um, let's dive right into it. Quarterbacks: Matt Ryan or Sam Darnold this week? Who are you going with?
All right. Now, I mean, on the surface, I think it's a slam dunk for Matt Ryan, but I will give Sam Donald a bit of a nod. He does have a pretty soft matchup this week against the Giants, but I'm going with Matt Ryan because they're coming off the bye. I don't like the vibes in Miami right now. Obviously, when you lose to Jacksonville, it's kind of like you're lower than low, but they're coming off the bye. Uh, I do like the setup here for the game. I think it could be a game where they get up early, especially considering Kyle Pitts was actually showing something before the last time we seen him, and he'll have a full complement of receivers and weapons. So I'll side with the Falcons on it. Hence, I'll side with Matt Ryan on it.
All right. Yeah, the same goes for me. Derek said Sam Darnold, starting Darnold because of Allen's bye. A lot of people have to, Derek. It's just one of those weeks, buddy. In regards to his play since Christian McCaffrey's been out, it has sucked. He went 17 for 41 last week against Minnesota. The week prior against Philly, who has a solid defense, he went 21 for 37. He's throwing on average probably about 36, 37 times a game. And they just haven't found that run game as far as when Christian McCaffrey's there, right? Like when Christian McCaffrey's there, that opens up that offense to new realms. In this case, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan too. I have him as the QB 11 on the week, actually, which it sounds high, but it's not with all the quarterbacks we're missing. Against the Jets, he threw 45 times, completed 33 of those for 342 yards. Calvin Ridley has been pretty much extinct this season. I don't think the same thing is going to happen against Miami. That defense has been horrible on third downs, and we know who Matt Ryan loves to target on third downs, and that's Calvin Ridley. Now, could Kyle Pitts have a big game? Sure could. Miami stinks. They're a terrible defense. I don't know if you listened to the show on Tuesday. They went from the second-ranked defense against third downs to the now 32nd, which is drastic. That's the biggest jump in history of football. Modern day, the modern era, the Super Bowl era, no team has ever gone from second to 32nd. It's astronomical. Your team basically has to like die in a plane crash, and I know that's wicked vulgar. I would say upwards of 43 times, 42 times, and he'll probably complete around. Will have a horrible week. I mean, if you got to start him, you got to start him with his bye. But yeah, so all right, let's continue. Give us the next one then, Dano.
Yeah, so this one's relevant for tonight. On one end of it, we got Dionys Johnson. The other end, we got Javonte Williams. Take us through it. Who do you got?
Shit, dude, this one's a tough one. Because I do think that for the most part, Williams and Gordon are going to be like back to back in rankings, and Ernest Johnson will probably be close to there. Um, I'll probably go with Ernest Johnson because I don't think Felton's going to be. Oh man, he's just been so bad. I know he's got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb ahead of him, but like, I mean, he's barely rushed the ball this year. Shit, dude. This one's tough. No, I'm going with Javonte Williams. I'm going with our guy. I said that he was going to be the rookie of the year. That's not happening. But you know what? He's averaged over 10 points the last 4 weeks, and it's not like he, his best week was against the Jets. His second best was against Pittsburgh. This Cleveland defense is no joke, but I just can't trust Ernest Johnson just yet. I just can't do it. I'm not playing him. I didn't like it. I don't like this backfield at all tonight, to be completely honest with you, Perks. So yeah, Javonte, what do you say?
I'm gonna go on the other side of it. I'm gonna take Dionys Johnson, and I don't know if it's a vote of confidence for Johnson as much as it's the disappointment in Javonte. When I think of the Denver backfield,
Oh,
I think of
is
the
though.
I think of the meme where from The Office where you got the receptionist like, oh, they're the same picture. Like when you look at Melvin Gordon and Javonte, at the end of the day, like Javonte looks like he has more juice, but they end up with exactly the same stat line. They'll get 10 to 12 carries, 50 yards, and that's it. 2 catches to 3 catches, and pray for a touchdown. I think at least for today, short term matchup, I'll take Dearness and like what he can show, and I mean we'll see. I mean he definitely has
Oh, it's
more of an
so ugly,
opportunity there,
man.
but yeah, it's one of those things of like who do you hate less? And I think I say I'm just not there with Javante. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna go with Dearness.
I know. It's
And what
so bad. It's so bad, man. Like this week sucks. This week, I listen. I love weeks like this because I like live for this shit. But if you're playing, if you're playing for $25 and some fun, weeks like this are just like looks like I'm taking an L. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's tough. It's tough. All right, cool. Glad we were on opposite sides there. We may be on this next one too. It doesn't get much prettier, folks. In fact, it gets he is the running back for the Patriots. I'll start with you, Perks. Ramondre Stevenson coming off a pretty hot week in New England. And he's got the Jets. And then, of course, Demetric will go tonight as the backup to Dionys Johnson against Denver. Who do you got?
So Demetric is just more of like the desperate PPR throw of the dart type guy to me. That's always how I'm viewing him. And Ramondre's shown that he's a big guy that can not only catch passes, but I mean he could rumble young men rumble. So I know you don't want to jinx him because you're a Pats fan or what have you, but I would comfortably go with Ramondre on this side. And it's a situation where I am starting him in one of my leagues. So I'm practicing what I preach. If it's always one of those things where he can be one play away from just being featured just because of how that backfield works. So I'm comfortably with Ramondre this week, and that should just show where the status of week 7. But I would say Ramondre is a good bet. Now, what say you, Moose Man?
Yeah, Ramondre. I think in most rankings they'd probably be fairly similar to each other this week. But I mean, Ramondre was even like so he was targeted last week, first off, 3 times, which is really good. And really, what was his first game back? It was the first game he really got targeted. He's been targeted once before, and it was the game he fumbled. So we haven't seen much of him since. I know he got 11 rushes against Houston, but that was kind of his welcome back to the to the team game against a horrible defense. And he was even targeted, or not targeted, but he was split out wide at one point. I forget if he did get a target in that, but that shows a lot of confidence in someone like that. So Demetric Felton has been targeted fairly recently, averaging about 2 targets a game for just 4 games this season. But for me, listen, I know my Pats. I know they're not going to just be happy with, giving Damien the ball 15, 16 times a game. It's just not how they do things. So, no, I'm gonna go with Ramondre Stevenson here. I didn't want any piece of this Cleveland backfield tonight. To be fair, Denver's defense is not a joke. Um, and though he could catch the ball, I mean, Demetric Felton literally could be treated as a wide receiver tonight. But then we remember that it's Case Keenum throwing him the ball. I love me some Case Keenum. Don't get me wrong.
I hate the guy because of the Minnesota Miracle, but
we will move on to another one that has to do with somebody tonight. I think it's very important that we talk about this one as well. And I'll let you go ahead and give us the news on who that is. A couple of wide receivers.
yeah. So this is more of like at the beginning of the season would have been the deep league diver darlings here. I wish I would be debating Rhino on this because it's kind of both ends of our guys here. But on one end you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and on the other end you got Donovan Peoples-Jones. Let's see where you're at, because my viewpoint is clear, but I want to see where you're at first.
Okay. Shite.
Yeah.
So this is like, again, like not happy with this one. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I would say that normally, like on a normal day, I would tell you, yeah, I'm starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's not a question. But today is not a normal day, and this week is not a normal week. So I'm going to go with the man out of the big blue house, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm going with DPJ solely due to the fact that I do not trust Jared Goff against this Rams defense. If anybody's going to know how to screw up a day, it's going to be that Rams defense against Jared Goff. It's probably the hardest matchup he'll have all year. I understand that it's a revenge game, but so it is for Matt Stafford. And as much as Jared Goff's going to try to put the ball in the air, we know how Anthony Lynn coaches, and he's going to tell Jared Goff, don't worry about it. I got you. We're going to run the ball. We're going to throw some screens. And I'm just not quite sure if Amon-Ra is going to have a big day. Could I be totally wrong? And could Amon-Ra have the best day of his career thus far? Probably. But it's highly unlikely. Now, does DPJ have hard... Is he going to have a hard enough time throwing to a Q or getting thrown from Case Keenum? You know, getting balls from Case Keenum and have... Going to have to take some chances tonight in order to pull out a win with all these injuries they have. I don't know if Denver's going to do the same thing because Anthony Lynn, their offensive coordinator, first off, sucks. Two, he loves to use the running back too much. In Cleveland's case, I don't think that's going to be the plan tonight. Eventually, at the second half, they're going to have to air the ball out, and DPJ is going to be one of the guys that they try to hit long. If you had asked me 7 weeks ago if we would be talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown versus DPJ weeks in case Keenum's throwing the ball to DPJ, I'd say you're crazy. Who you got? I got DPJ. Who you got?
Sounds like a preseason week 4 special if I ever heard one, but I guess let's see who can make the rosters here.
It's so damn true.
So on my count, I just did a quick stat check. It would seem that Amon-Ra would have outscored DPJ all weeks except for last week, which is the most relevant, obviously, because it just happened. So I'm still on the side of Amon-Ra St. Brown here.
Okay. I figured.
And I mean, that's just because the narrative is there for Goff to want to prove to the Rams that, not that you made a mistake, because they clearly didn't make a mistake, but you know that it just sour grapes in terms of how everything happened. Sean McVay even apologized, like saying how the trade went down and everything, and you know Goff said, "Yeah, it's okay, but it still happened, and I'm still sour." So I think he's gonna look at the guy that he's targeted multiple times throughout the past 3 weeks. Amon-Ra had 8 targets, and 7 targets. He could be doing a little bit more with it. Not gonna lie. And the matchup isn't great, like we were saying, but This is somebody that, throughout the process, I like just coming in as a rookie and the opportunity share that he has. And I think that continues. The fact that Baker's missing the matchup on the other side and Case Keenum's going to have to lead Peoples Jones to glory just kind of solidifies it for me where I'm comfortable with Amon-Ra. We're going to get a lot of good sound bites for this week 7.
It doesn't have to do with two players that are playing tonight, but it does have to do with one player that's been struggling and is missing his quarterback, and one player that was out on injury for a few weeks, and we really don't know what to expect at this point. It's Tyler Lockett and T. Higgins. I will ask you, who are you playing this week? This is something, I mean, after week 2, again, if you had told me we had to answer this question, I love me some T. Higgins, but this is what we deal with fantasy, the unknown. So who are you going with this weekend? Gun to the head, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, who you got?
Gun to the head. I might be one of those situations where I take the 0. But, I mean, I think...
That's horrible.
Ultimately, I gotta go Lockett, just because of the fact that he did have the blow ups in the beginning of the season. That was with Russell, and now he's got Geno.
Hey, real quick, Dano.
Sure. Sorry, you cut off there, Moose. I can't quite get you, but I was gonna say that. Yeah, I'm going.
Ooh, my bad. My Wi-Fi is about crapping out right now.
Yeah, they were saying your screen was going white, and that's probably why. Like,
here we go.
In and out of it, but no, I'm on the Tyler Lockett side of it, even with Geno Smith. For this matchup, it's Monday night, so you're gonna have to wait to see the results of your benching of T. Higgins if that's the options you have. But I think that Lattimore will be on Metcalf, just because that's the one that Geno's been comfortably wanting to throw to more. Lockett's target share has gone down in the lineup, so I think he has a better matchup just from an individual standpoint. And any given play, he can just break loose. I don't see that with Higgins. He is coming back, so he's gonna have to get adjusted to the new pecking order of Javonte. But so I'm just gonna go with Lockett, and I mean Derek had said in the chat you can't be afraid to bench your big name guys.
You can't.
But, I would still put him in considering just the apocalypse that we.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm going with T. Higgs. T. Higgs, you guys know, is my boy. And right now, to be honest with you, with Geno Smith, I am legitimately worried about Tyler Lockett. Is he getting targeted still? Off and on. Week 3 and 4, he had 4 and 5 targets. Week 5 against the Rams, he had 10. They had to throw the ball a lot. And week 6 against Pittsburgh this past week, he had 7. I don't quite know against New Orleans if they're going to have to do that as much. They're going to be down, and they're going to have to throw the ball. I'm just not quite sure if Geno Smith is the guy to get him the ball. On the other hand, Joe Burrow has looked better and better throughout the season, and even coming off such a serious injury, I don't think. First off, I don't think he's slowing down. I just think he's getting better throughout the season. And against Baltimore, they're going to throw the ball. And one of his favorite red zone targets is T. Higgins. He hasn't scored since week 2, but he did miss 2 weeks with that injury against Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. Hasn't scored one since, but got 7 targets in his return and 6 last week against Detroit, where I didn't think they were going to throw the ball much, but I did think he was going to get a touchdown. I'm gonna stick with that same thought against Baltimore. He's going to have to get targeted. Could we see CJ Uzoma get fucking 3 red zone targets? Sure, we absolutely could. This is a game where Joe Burrow is going to have to absolutely ball out. This is a career-defining day for him this Sunday. As crazy as that sounds, really not even playing a full slate of games yet in his career, like 1 year's worth of games. I still think he's going to have to do it against the division rival this week. It's a really important game for them. It's a really important game from Lamar in Baltimore, and I think T. Higgins is going to be targeted a lot. I think that whole team is going to be targeted a lot. I'm not saying go ahead and play Tyler Boyd, but listen, if you have Mike Williams and everybody else under the sun out this week, then you might have to. So I'm going to go T. Higgs. And the last one, what do we got? We got a couple of tight ends. I don't think we normally dive into tight ends too much because, one, I think they suck. They're the next to go after the kicker. But I think it's important that we ask these questions because you're going to have guys out this week. You're going to need to know who to play. These two may be, they may even be ranked a little bit higher than some of the guys that will be missing, but I know for a fact there's a few of you missing a tight end this week, and it's not going to go well. So who we got, Perks? Read them out.
Yeah, just even before we say the name, these are guys that are probably borderline tight end one streamers, like just on a regular week, so they will get a little natural bump with the buys. But let's talk about both of them. So you're gonna go first. Tell me who you like between Ricky Seals-Jones or Hunter Henry.
Okay, so first off, I would say in the last 2-3 weeks, I would say that at least Ricky Seals-Jones should be owned and probably has been picked up in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Hunter Henry's fairly new. He's a fairly new pickup, I would say. Probably since the Houston or Tampa Bay game, he's averaged a touchdown in the last 3 games. In fact, he has a touchdown in the last 3 games on only about 15 targets. So I think it's important to note that he's obviously a red zone threat against almost any defense at this point. But I'm going to go with Ricky Seals-Jones. I think he is a favorite target for Tyler Heinicke as a whole against Kansas City. He obviously had that one long touchdown. But I think fact of the matter against this Jets team is that I do believe that one, I don't even quite know if Hunter Henry will be targeted in the end zone. Like, I know that sounds crazy with the game plan they've been having, but the Jets might try to pick up on that. And I think we're going to run the ball a ton against New York. Like, I really do think Damien Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are going to have a day. And if we're anywhere near the goal line, I think we're running the ball. Yeah, and Alex said Henry, baby, 3 touchdowns in a row. Might be a little biased because I'm a Pats fan. And that might be why I'm trying to stick away from that, because I love Hunter Henry right now. He has proven to be a huge part of that offense compared to Jonnu Smith, who we thought was going to be a huge part of that offense. And his time, I do think, will come. But right now, it's Hunter Henry. I still think I'd play Ricky Seals-Jones. He has a fantastic matchup against Green Bay. They have not been too good against a tight end, and this is a game where they're going to have to throw the ball. Compared to the Patriots, where I don't think we're going to be asking Mac Jones to throw the ball 30 times, where Washington may have to do that because they're going to go down early and fast. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Seals-Jones. Oh, wait, is that Rhino coming in? But
Okay, so
Ooh.
we just got some breaking news, that Baker Mayfield has actually broken his shoulder. And John, do we have word on whether or not he will play for the rest of the year? Does he need immediate surgery? I love this guy. This is why I have a Baker Mayfield jersey. He's getting on the field sooner than later. Yeah, you guys can't hear Rhino. He's the one feeding us this information. It's coming from behind the curtain. And again, I think you still got my audio though, no? Oh, well, that's trash. Anyways, I'm having some Wi-Fi issues lately. Regardless, I love Baker Mayfield. The moment he ran from those cops and they buried him into a concrete wall, I was like, that's a guy I want leading my team. So I did buy a jersey immediately from him. But yeah, that's crazy news. So he may be out more than just 1 week. We'll see what Case Keenum has. but sorry to interrupt you. Back to Ricky Seals Jones or Hunter Henry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm with you with Ricky Seals Jones. Just looking at Hunter Henry's stat lines, he did only have the one big game, at least yardage wise. He had 75 yards against Houston, and then after that, it's really just been touchdown dependency in terms of just actually being productive for fantasy. Now, on a typical archetype for a tight end, you do want them to get in the end zone because it's just more predictable. However, you want someone that's also going to be able to make a big play. Seals Jones has proved that. He does have a healthy amount of the target share just around the field, just 20 to 20. And yeah, seems to have a good rapport with Heineke. I don't know if it's like the Fitzpatrick was throwing to Logan Thomas or Heineke was throwing to Seals Jones type of thing, but he's been heating up, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was a blow up matchup in Green Bay where there should be a lot of points on both sides of this. So yeah, give me Sales Jones for this bipocalypse, and then even give me Sales Jones just as like a good weekly streamer if you don't have one of the big guys locked up. He does seem to have like a good rapport, like I said with Heineke, and I'm not against starting him in future weeks.
Oh my, I'm muted. I'm muted. I don't know if I muted myself. I don't know
That'll
what happened.
explain it.
Okay, cool, great. So I was just muted for way too long. Hope you guys could read lips really well because I was saying how much we appreciate you being here, even with all the technical difficulties on a beautiful Thursday night. That's kind of just what you deal with when you don't have millions of dollars to fund equipment. All right, let's get into the flop and pops. I'll let you go first with your flop. Give me the bad news. Who do you have flopping this week that maybe people have been high on? Maybe people have been picking up because of this crazy ass bye week we're having. Who you got?
Yeah, so for my flop is just more opportunistic type of play. Obviously we talked about Gronk not being out there and OJ Howard's probably out there on the waiver wire for a lot of people. Cameron Brate did flash last week, but I do think that those that thought OJ Howard would be the one to shine this week is going to be surely mistaken. Um, I don't like I don't like the setup for him. Even if AB, who's been missing practice, even if he doesn't play, I think that just converts to more of a Chris Godwin type of game plan where he'll be the one getting the targets across the middle. And like I said, Cameron Brate did show last week, so um, I would I would fade OJ Howard for sure. And
All right.
in terms of the pops, you guys gotta have something to lift you up. I'm going back to the well with Cordell Patterson. Man, this guy, I'll tell you what, when they signed him,
Woo!
I thought he was just kind of, yeah, just going out to pasture. All right, here's the veteran, not a la Todd Gurley, just gonna just shrivel away. But essentially, he was just supposed to be an insurance policy for Mike Davis. And look at this guy now; he's an integral part of the offense. He's been probably the most productive player on the offense. I think, notwithstanding. So I think that continues this week. Coming off the bye, they probably get more inventive ways to get him involved. I would like to see um, bit more with him in like the just down the field because I do think he's still got the juice to do that. They get him a lot of like the screens, the slants, and then obviously the carries out the backfield. Um, and then against Miami, like I said, it's just a lowly matchup for him. He could definitely be someone where whether you need to plug him in as a receiver or a running back this week, guess what? He'll cover both, and you'll be thankful for it.
Sorry, I keep losing you, man. It's just not a good night in the Anderson household for Wi-Fi. I did just move it the other day too, so that could possibly be it. All right, so thank you for giving us your flops and pops. This on a lot of people. But I do think that he's going to have a tough time against Tampa Bay, and I do think that Chicago is going to throw the ball a little bit more, maybe even target Allen Robinson. We need to get him out of the black and back into the green. Actually, he's at this point he's in the red. He is in the red hard. And Khalil Herbert got 19 fantasy points in PPR last week, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 19 rushes for 97 yards in a tutty. I don't anticipate the same thing happening with Green Bay. I think they're a lot better defense, and their secondary is trash right now. So I would anticipate that they're going to let Justin Fields throw the ball a little bit. That, as well as Damien Williams is supposed to be back from COVID. Is that my understanding? Do I have that correct?
So he could be cleared as early as Saturday. He needs the negative test because he's unvaccinated. So that's why it's a little longer of a wait than say like Goddard had to go through. But yeah, it's possible.
Okay. All right. So I think there's a possibility Damien Williams comes back. In fact, I think he does. And I think Khalil Herbert's going to have to fight for attempts. Listen, this might be a game where I know it's going to sound crazy, where you go back to Myles Gaskin against Atlanta. I fucking hate it, but I mean, it's not going to be good for Khalil Herbert and Damien Williams this weekend. In regards to Cordell rather, he has like top five upside against Miami this week. So I think that was a fantastic call. So be wary. You probably have to start Khalil, but be wary. Let us know if you guys have to start him and who you have on your bench. I may offer somebody else, but my pop this week is going to be Calvin Ridley. This is the week where he comes back. This is the week where we see the Calvin Ridley that we were supposed to see. They're coming off a bye week. They're going to get everything situated in Atlanta. I don't think Matt Ryan wants to be done being fairly okay at football. And so far this season, that whole team has been okay. In regards to PPR, he's finished the first week as the wide receiver 60. The second week, wide receiver 17. And then 27 and 26. And then, of course, he missed the game against the Jets in London where we thought, hey, he's going to be back. And no, he wasn't. But against Miami, dude, this defense, again, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. We were talking about Matt Ryan earlier tonight. This Miami defense is trash, man. Calvin Ridley's going to get his targets. I would say upwards of like 12. I would say 12 to like 15 targets. I really think they're going to target the shit out of him this game. Give him a little confidence back. Get Matt Ryan's confidence up because they go right back to Carolina and New Orleans and Dallas and then New England. So they're going to have a tough stretch here. Maybe not so much against New England, but those other teams, they're definitely going to have to start fighting for some wins. I don't think they'll get them, but Calvin Ridley will certainly, I think, have a good night tonight. We're coming up on 8 o'clock perks. Perhaps we can talk a little bit about the spread tonight or lack thereof. We can talk about the money line, and I'll give you guys a prop bet of the night if you ever do underdogs or any other type of sports book where you can place some money on a certain prop bet for tonight. And I'm not talking about commercial time or our national anthem time. This is players getting over reception yards, over rushing yards, over under, I should say. But let's go first to the spread. This is going to be one of the tightest spreads we've seen this year, Perks. It is +5 Broncos plus 1.5 Broncos minus 1.5 for the Browns. And really what this spread is saying is that first off, they have no idea who's going to win. Everyone, thank you very much for sticking with us. I know that my audio is all screwed up, my video is all screwed up. I appreciate it. It's definitely Wi-Fi issues. And then Jacob Blaze said, DW Perks, my man. Hell yeah. Welcome to the show, Jacob. So let's first. Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, Alex said I got Dak, Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Dawson Knox on a bye. Also got 2 players fighting for my 1 IR spot. Not looking good this week. Yeah, well, we're in the same boat as you, Alex. Man, it's not looking good this week, especially with all the injuries on top of that. All right, let's go first to the spread. Like I said, plus 1.5 Broncos, minus 1.5 Browns. Basically, who do you think is going to win tonight?
Yeah, no, essentially that's what it is, and you're giving me 1.5. I'll take the 1.5. So give me the Broncos on this side of it.
Okay.
I think they could win this game outright anyway, especially not knowing what Case Keenum's going to present. Are you going to get the guy from that Minnesota trusted, or are you just going to get, he's just a Jag, like just another guy? So give me the Broncos here. Cleveland's missing too much on offense, even with Landry coming back, in my estimation.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much sums it up. I'll take the Broncos too at 1.5. In regards to the money line, we got Broncos plus 105 and Browns minus 125. So basically what that means, people, is that you have to spend $125 on the Browns to win $100. I am not going to do that. I will take the Broncos to win this game money line straight up at plus 105. I don't have that bet going. I do have a 5-game parlay. But it does not include this game. There's just no way I was taking this one. It does include, though, Perks, the Rams at minus 15, because I think Matt Stafford might unload like 65 points on these guys. Jordo DeCarlo's here. I'm sure he had class. I know he's a little bit late on Thursday. He said, "What's up, boys? Just got home. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on Johnson tonight. I got him going as RB1. Oh, my shit, Jordo. That is... I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the bipocalypse. I know it's not my fault, but I will apologize on behalf of the NFL for screwing everybody. We did mention Ernest Johnson earlier. I personally don't want a piece of him, but I understand having to play him. Who knows? They could have Case Keenum hand the ball off 34 times tonight. Like that could very well happen. Although I do think they're going to end up having to throw the ball, like I said, to DPJ, my boy. But yeah, Johnson. All right, Rhino's boy. That's right. That's right. I mean, I knew who he was in college, but I never thought he'd be a thing in the NFL. That's for damn sure. When he was returning balls at Michigan. But yes, that's Rhino's boy, TBJ. DeCarlo, it's kind of Jordo. It's kind of just like something you have to do tonight. Our thoughts are as baseless as they come, to be completely honest with you. He hasn't been given much work, and there's reason for it. But with those 2 guys out, you got to go to him. Any thoughts for Jordo, Perks, that I didn't mention? Maybe
I can't say anything that's going to make him more comfortable about him being his RB1, because that's just the reality of the situation. I mean, I hope he gets in the end zone for you. Otherwise, hopefully the receivers and everybody else you got can make up for a little bit. But yeah,
I mean, the guys you're forced to start tonight are. Have you ever gone to like a fair and you've had to take like a piss in a porta potty, and it's like 98 degrees out and there's like bees everywhere? That's kind of what this week is. Only you're on fire. So none of it's fun. And none of it's good. He said he's got Bateman and flex, possibly wide receiver 2. Jordan, I actually don't hate Bateman as a wide receiver 2 flex option this week, and probably moving forward. I think he's going to be a favorite target for Lamar. And Marquise is going to turn back into that guy where he's streaming down the field because he's so damn fast. Player on bye last week and put on my best week, Kamara. Okay, so yeah, you're good. You're good, Alex. All right, so money line, I said Broncos. Are you taking the Broncos straight up in this game?
Yep. Give me the Broncos straight up.
Okay. All right, cool. So we both got the Broncos pretty much on everything tonight. My prop bet of the night is Noah Fant over 46.5 reception yards. Listen, do I think Teddy Bridgewater will have a great day? No, I think this defense is pretty good in Cleveland, and their front 4 are dangerous. So we'll see. He could get sacked upwards of like 4 or 5 times tonight, I think. Alex said he's in a wide receiver 3 conundrum. Oh no, that's Dan. Dan Saint, what up, buddy? You're in a wide receiver 3 conundrum. I think you had maybe texted me about this earlier today. Why don't you give us who you have? I know it's like 6 names. Just jot them down. Me and Perks will talk about them. In the meantime, while you get that ready, I want to talk about the over. And as much of a shit game as this much be, we got 7 people on right now, chat. Thanks, guys, for joining. If you're with us still, hit the like button, hit the share button. We have about 15 minutes until game time. So me and Perks are going to wrap this up soon. But if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to text me or DM me, post wherever you have to post on whatever you got to post. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on everything. So find us at the Fantasy Dads wherever you go, and we'll answer your question as fast as we can before game time. In the meantime, Dan, get those guys together, and we'll see what we can do for you. The over, under, 40.5. 40.5 for an NFL game in 2021. Now, I think this is just part and parcel for Vegas literally not knowing what the hell to do with tonight on any side of the ball. The money line was even like, I just didn't even like understand. I don't understand any of it. So I'll let you start.
Yeah, it's like one of those lines. Literally, when you go to the spread, to the over-under, it's like I don't know, you pick type of thing where whatever guy assigned the wager was just like, it could be this way or that way. And I mean, in reality, it could be, but at the same time, I would confidently put the over. I just think that it could be one of those games where, like, you get a lot of surprise mistakes, a lot of broken plays type things. Like, these are 2 teams that are kind of going in that direction where they're going to need a little bit of luck to generate offense, but at the same time, these are NFL teams we're talking about, and 40.5 is an intense tickle fight. So I'll smash it.
Tickle fight. I mean, like, that type of over-under is like the amount of times I say the F word in a day, like 40.5. Like, that's like that would be a good reference to any over-under that's 40.5. Yeah, I'm obviously taking the over, guys. Like, you guys know what I'm doing. You guys know if the over-under for the Rams-Lions game could be like 75.5, and guess what? My ass is probably taking it. 40.5 for a football game. Like, Case Keenum could literally put up like 20 points. Like, that's realistic. And the Broncos could obviously do that too. 40.5 points. I would do that for a Division III high school football game in the worst state in the nation for football here in Rhode Island. Like, 40.5. Dude, DPJ could go off for like 2 touchdowns. Shout out Rhino. It's just a joke. 40.5 points. I know we've joked about the over/under being low before. This is hysterical. It's hysterical. I'm taking the over. That I may even put a bet on low before tonight. Like, honestly, I might go to the sports book right after we're done here and do that. Hysterical. It's just crazy. Taking the over. All right. In regards to anything else, Perks, I know we have one more reminder for the people. I know I mentioned it before, but I'd like you to remind the guys again, guys and girls. Everyone can play fantasy. What do we do on Thursday nights?
Shout out to Jordan DiCarlo for doing the pseudo reminder, but hey, he's got Dionys Johnson as his RB1. Dionys Johnson is not much more than a flex tier player on any other given week. However, he's going to play him in the RB spot because he's going to allow flexibility for the lineups on Sunday, Monday night pivots, or whatever else you need on this crazy hellhole of a week that we already got. So if you have anyone going for Cleveland or Denver, please put them in their assigned positional slots. The Cortland Suttons, you probably already got them slotted in the receiver, but anybody else, move them up. Tim Patrick, move them up. Dionys Johnson, move them up. You want to play Felton? Good luck. Move them up. And I mean, we gotta let people.
Good luck.
Move them up.
Truthfully, good luck. Do you have anybody going tonight? I meant to ask you earlier, but it seems like a good time to ask you now.
So across, I mean, and you're talking about the degenerate of me having 6 leagues, and across 6 leagues, I have a whopping 1 share of Cortland Sutton, and
Well, that's a good piece of the game to have tonight.
that's about it. Yeah, no, I mean, even if everyone's like present, like I don't have none of Hunt, Chubb, or kind of how the draft went, but yeah, I only got Sutton and nothing.
What Rhino? Oh yeah, that keeps happening. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. It honestly, it could be me at this point. It could just be my Wi-Fi just screwing everybody's night up. It could also be the toilet bowl that we're gonna watch tonight. That is gonna hit the over at 40.5. You know what I want to start doing though, Perks? What do you think a final score is gonna be? I feel like we never talk about a final score on these nights, but I think like you and I mean, we're doing the pregame Thursday show. It's a big night. Football's back. Football's back. What do you have as a final score prediction for this game?
all right, final score: Denver. I'll give them 24.
Oh,
and I'll give Cleveland 21. Brandon McManus for the win, and you cover your over-unders. You get the spread and the bread, and that's all she wrote for today.
The spread and the bread. I love it. Shit. Yeah, I'll give the Broncos 27. I'll give the Browns 21. You know what? No, I'll give them 24. We're nailing the over tonight. We're hitting it hard. We're hitting it hard. I think Myles Garrett might just rip the ball out of Teddy Bridgewater's hand tonight, just run it back for 80 yards. That could happen. We don't know. We don't know anything. So we'll see.
He'll get tested because he's been complaining every time he wears sleeveless jerseys. He just gets tested randomly. So
could you imagine? Could you imagine being such a large human being that you get tested because you just look big enough to be doing steroids? That's amazing. Good for him. I mean, that's hard work, or steroids. We don't know. We've never heard about the results of those tests, so we'll see. But yeah, all right, cool, great. Denver wins tonight. We're hitting the over. Keep the change. How are you? We'll see you on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, as always. If you were with us for most of the show, thank you very much. We very much appreciate your contribution in watching us and listening to us and caring about our opinions. We do care about this stuff, and we're invested just as much as you guys are. If you're still with us, please go on to Twitter, go on to Instagram, go on to TikTok. Hit our YouTube, LinkedIn. Just look up the Fantasy Dads. We'll be there. We'll always be here for you guys. And give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. Let us know what videos you love and hate on TikTok, because some of them are very controversial, but that's what we do. That's what we do here at the Fantasy Dads. We make you think. Perks, anything else you want to say tonight before we log off?
Yeah, just one more apology for the stumbles and bumbles of like the audio issues that we've experienced. Like Moose said, we're doing this for the love of the game, as generous that we are, and we appreciate everyone that was popping in and out, just the viewers and the support and the questions. It keeps us going, and it makes us know that we're really in it for the right reasons, and we're gonna get everything right. And when we do, we're gonna know who's here from the startups. So appreciate it, and hopefully you guys have everything set up for week 7. It's gonna be a rough one, but we got you through it, at least as far as we can, up to Sunday. Tune in at 11 a.m.
That's right, and thank you for apologizing on my behalf. I'll let you guys do that from now on. I'm done apologizing for everything. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, my Wi-Fi was trash. Sorry. All right, we're out. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. Boom. Keep the change.